Halo Combat Evolved. Don't know why my stream is actually showing that. 1 second. There we go. Maybe. Wait. Actually. Okay. There we go. Wanted to remove all the other stuff on my screen. Okay. So this is Halo Combat Evolved. It's going to be on Legendary. And yeah, let's just get right to it. Okay. So 3, 2, 1, start. Okay. First level, Pillar of Autumn. It's a pretty straightforward level. You just have to get to the end of the level by just walking through hallways. Except there's a ton of enemies, and particularly this level is the cause of a lot of resets and runs because of how much time you can use on it. And once again, because this is legendary, it's going to be a lot of deaths. Expect a lot of deaths.
I guarantee it won't be as many as if I were playing.
Yeah. Yeah, so the estimate for this category should be an hour 40. Yeah. Because
okay,
it's
yeah.
Those Marines could use some help, Chief. Do what you do best.
So in this mission, you have to get plasma grenades. It's really important.
Keep your head down. There's 2 of us in here now, remember?
Nades are super important in this run.
What the hell? Did something just hit us?
Unfortunately, I haven't gotten a single one yet. I got 2 frags from this guy. I still need plasmas, because plasma grenades are the ones that really matter. And I didn't get any, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to kind of make up some strats on the fly. Nope. I needed to pick those up. Yikes. Okay. I jumped over the plasma nades, so that was kind of unfortunate. Expect a lot of deaths. That's what I said. This section is brutal in particular. There we go. Should be fine here. Classic POA is like this. Okay, so now that we have plasmas, you can see how they're useful. Just kill all the enemies in this section right here. This section as well. Just throw 2 plasmas. All these enemies should die, and we should be able to get through right here just fine. And there we go. So it's important to kill all these enemies on the way because it's super easy
Covenant,
to die,
on the
as
landing
seen
above
like
us.
earlier. They were doing a grenade jump to get past these stairs quicker, and these enemies normally are not alerted, so I got really bad luck here. Okay, but it worked out fine. Just trying to wait for my shields to regenerate. And now here I'm going to throw plasma, and these elites, because they don't see you when you throw the plasma, so they look at the plasma grenade on the ground because they don't know where it came from, and they just die to it.
The life pods are launching. We should hurry.
And there we go. So normally there's a skip you can do here called maintenance skip, which requires a specific FPS.
Warning, blast doors
Unfortunately,
closing.
I wasn't able to switch my FPS.
Follow
It's
the
kind
nav
of
point.
weird.
It will lead you to an opening.
And it makes this door open up sooner if you get it. Okay. Now, just continue walking through these holes, and this is another section where you can really easily die in. So, these elites are brutal in particular because you have to kill them with plasma nades while
It
you
looks
go
like the
by.
Covenant wanted to catch you
Barely
napping.
squeaked through with 1 health because I missed my nade on one of the elites, so it was kind of risky. Now here at this section, just same thing as before. Go through these hallways. Here we shoot so that these grunts are all scared and run away. Really helps out, so we don't die there. And then here's the very ending. We just have to kill all of these enemies to trigger the ending sequence. And 1 grunt lived there, so that should be fine. And there we go, out of PLA.
Chief? Chief, can you hear me?
Now here's the second
At
mission,
last.
Halo.
Are you alright?
And it's a
Can you
lot of
move?
walking at this
The
starting
others.
section.
The
So we're going to do a
There's
nade
nothing
jump,
we can do.
a grenade jump over this rock. So we skip an entire
Warning.
wave of
I've
enemies here.
detected multiple Covenant dropships on approach. I recommend
So
moving
an
into those
important
hills.
thing I should be
If we're
noting
lucky, the
is
Covenant will
I've
believe
been
that
using a
everyone
glitch
aboard this
called,
lifeboat died in the crash.
backpack reloading. Oh. Okay, I thought I messed up that nade jump. So we're using a glitch called backpack reloading, where when you're trying to reload a weapon, you can reload it from your backpack. So what happens is if you tap reload twice, switch your weapons, you just reloaded your weapon inside your backpack, and that's really important in the run because it makes combat a ton easier. If you don't do it that way, it becomes really rough for a lot of sections, particularly this starting section and a lot of other combat heavy parts of missions. So it's really important to have that down. Okay, so
I'm reading a
here's
lifeboat beacon over
a
the next
very
hill.
tough
We
first
should
wave
check to
of
see if there are
enemies
any
here.
survivors.
So going to have to try to kill all of them. Also, something important to note is in this game, the pistol and plasma pistol have pretty bad tracking. So sometimes when you think a shot should connect, it doesn't, which is kind of unfortunate because of how the spread of the weapon is.
I want a head count. Good to see you, sir.
Okay, so now here, we're trying to kill all of our teammates
Don't worry,
because
Sergeant.
it speeds
We'll stay
up
here
the
until
game.
evac arrives.
Because normally these Marines, they have a lot of dialogue which they say, and it loses a lot of time if they say it, probably 30-40 seconds. So now here, just going to have to kill all of these enemies as soon as possible, and it's basically a wave fight that we have to go through. So now I'm going to be trying a skip called drop skip, where we skip one of these dropships by insta-killing all of these enemies. It's a pretty difficult trick because of how you have to line up the grenades. I might be late for this last dropship here for the skip, so that's going to be kind of rough. Oh, I have aggro marines as well. That's pretty unfortunate. It's going to make this level pretty hard. Okay, but I did not get drop skip, which is really unfortunate. I thought I did get it, but apparently I was not fast enough. Should be fine though. maybe not. I don't have plasma pistol ammo, so this is really rough. So I'm going to have to really improvise here, because I really need to get one, or else it's impossible. Okay, I'm going to revert here and try to get a better nade for the first side here. Maybe that will work. If not, we have a plasma pistol now, so this should be a bit better. Once again, legendary. It's pretty rough, especially this mission in particular. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Okay. Wow. Yeah, if you don't get drop skip, this ship is the hardest ship to clear. There we go. That's it. Now just one last ship here. Hopefully this one goes much more smoothly. There we go.
This is Pelican Echo 419. Anybody reading me? Repeat. Any UNSC personnel respond. Roger, Echo 419. This is Fire Team Charlie. We read you. Is that you, Hammer? Roger, Fire Team Charlie. Good to hear from you.
Okay, so now,
Hammer, we need transportation to the
now we're
command
just
shuttle.
going to go head over to the
I'm on my
Warthog.
way.
You can
Look,
technically
more
do
lifeboats.
this
They're
mission
coming in
without
fast.
this Warthog, but it's
those
way
lifeboats
slower
make it down,
if
the
you
Covenant
do
are
it
going
that
to be
way,
right on top of them.
especially with how much
Hammer,
walking you
we
would
need
have
you
to
to
do at the
disengage our
last
Warthog.
section.
The Master Chief and I are going to see if we can save some soldiers. Roger, Cortana.
So now because this guy's angry at me, I have to shoot him
Okay,
off,
Charlie Team, Warthog deployed.
because he
Saddle
can't
up
get
and
into
give
the
'em hell.
Warthog if he's angry at me.
Roger, Hammer.
And
Stand by to evac
unfortunately, they're
survivors
going
and
to be
transport
angry
them
at
to
me
safety.
for the rest of the mission.
That's affirmative.
So I'm going to
Echo
have to
419 staying on
play the
station.
very
Hammer out.
last part of this mission very well in order to get through.
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone
It should
built
work
it,
out.
so it must lead somewhere. I've hacked into the Covenant battle network. They're
So
actually
now this
broadcasting
section, we're just
tactical
driving
data on
to the
unencrypted
next
channels.
area of the level,
We should show them who they're dealing
and we
with.
have to open a bridge
Master Chief,
in between.
I'm going to use your suit's transcom system to monitor their chatter.
So we're just going to do that right here. Not much to talk about in this section, to be honest. Basically just driving. Okay, so coming up right here is a fling, so we're flinging on this wall. That's unfortunate. It only happens, that happens occasionally if you don't have a Marine in your gunner seat, where you just die instantly to the splatter, to the fling like that. It's really unfortunate, again. So now here, we activate the bridge. Hopefully not die. It's really easy to die if you don't have a Marine in your backseat, which is why it's really hard to do this section if you don't have Marines at all. Now, just driving to
There's
the
new
next
traffic on the
section.
Covenant battle network. A lot more crew made it off the Autumn than I had predicted. The captain really gave them hell. If we can find Captain Keyes and the other survivors, we have a chance to coordinate an effective resistance.
Okay. Yeah. Nice FFC emotes. Poggers. Okay. So now this section, there's 3 areas where we have to kill Marines. Or technically save Marines. But to speed things up, we just kill them because it's way faster. Because if you try to save the Marines, you have to clear
Lifeboat
waves
detected.
upon waves of dropships,
No sign of survivors.
which is really slow. Also, here I'm going to get this health pack for the safety of it, along with these nades. It's kind of important. Now here we're going to just do another fling over these walls,
Maybe they took cover in that structure. Let's check it out.
just like that.
We should search the interior of those structures
Now
before
we're
we
going
leave.
to save the Marines.
I'm gone, man. This is suicide.
Well, I think they're saved. Okay. So now heading to the next area to save Marines, which is right here. So, gonna go to the next area. Oh, I got overcharged. Overcharged is when
We should search the interior of those structures
a
before we leave.
jackal shoots you with a plasma pistol at its full strength, and it just takes away all your shields, and it's really unfortunate if it happens, because you can lose a lot of health really easily when it does. Okay, so we're going to save the next area of Marines. So we have to make sure they're fighting first before we do it.
Survivors detected. Marines are concealed
And
in those
now,
rocks.
slowly we wait here for the Covenant to finish our job. And there we go. Now the last area, because I have aggro Marines, I have to do some really weird strats. Normally you would get a Marine in your Warthog, but because they're angry at you, they'll just shoot you instead, which is not what we want. So here we're just going to be good at this game and snipe all these enemies. This guy was hiding behind a tree.
What are you
it's
doing?
important
We
to
have to
kill
stay with the Marines.
Marine,
This is
or
Warhammer.
kill the
Cortana,
elites.
do you read?
The elites are the
Respond.
main priority.
We read you, Fohammer. But we were unable to save the Marines. We're going to try to find the final lifeboat now.
So wherever there are elites, I want to kill them because they deal a lot of damage. Okay, so there's one elite there. Oh, he's hiding. Okay. Hopefully he comes out or something. But yeah, this section is pretty rough without.
There's some
Good
Marines
Marines.
hiding in the hills above the structure.
So I'm just going to drive here, kill one of them. Hopefully that
Warning.
works.
I've picked up reports that the Covenant has
should
located and
work.
secured the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. The good news is the captain is still alive. The
Get a
bad news is that the
checkpoint.
Covenant have captured the entire
And now I
surviving
want
command
to
crew.
kill the
Let's hurry
last
and find the final
dropship
lifeboat
here,
so we can link
along
up with the
with
rest
all
of the
the rest of
survivors.
the enemies. It's unfortunate. Don't have any ammo for my sniper rifle, which is really hard. Makes this really hard. Okay, that was my fault. accidentally right-clicked. Should be fine. Just going to grab some sniper rifle ammo up top here. Get away from this area as soon as possible. There's an elite here though, which I need to kill. Okay, I have a checkpoint, so that's really good. So hopefully there should not be too many left.
No survivors, Master Chief.
Okay, so there's one elite up top. Okay,
That's the last of
there
them.
we go.
Roger that. I'm
That
on
was
my
a
way.
really slow Halo
New traffic
because
on
of
the Covenant
aggro
battle net.
marines
I
and
found
really
Captain
unfortunate
Keyes. He's being
circumstances.
held on a Covenant cruiser.
But that should
The
be
Truth
fine.
and Reconciliation, a ship I disabled
This
before
is
we
the
abandoned
hardest
the
level
auto.
for me, so
The Truth and Reconciliation
now that I
touched down on a
finished it,
desert
it
plateau
should
roughly
hopefully be
300
much
kilometers
smoother.
upspin.
Okay,
There's our ride.
so this
Get
next
aboard and
mission
let's
is
get
when
out of here.
things start getting
Welcome
really
aboard,
cool.
Master. The enemy has captured
So
Captain
this
Keyes
is
and are
Truth
holding
and
him aboard one of their
Reconciliation.
cruisers, the Truth
It's a
and
really fun
Reconciliation.
mission,
The ship is currently holding position
especially
approximately
casually.
300
There's
meters above
so
the
many
other end
things
of
you
this
can
plateau.
do.
So how do we get inside the
And
ship
here's
if
where
it's
you
in the
get to
air?
see the first of
Core
the
should be a
out-of-bounds
rifle, not
glitches,
wings.
which is
There's
really
a gravity
insane.
lift that ferries troops and supplies between
Was
the ship and
found
the surface. That's our ticket
recently,
in.
last
Once
summer,
we get
I
inside the
believe.
ship, I should be able to lock on to the tracking signal
So
from
it's
Captain
going to
Keyes'
be
neural
really cool
implants.
to see.
Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The Corps ain't paying us by the hour.
Stick to the higher
So
ground to the
here's
right.
the start.
We should
You
be
just
able to
want
recon the
to
Covenant
be
position
good
without
at
being spotted.
sniping,
I've detected
try
Covenant
to
stationary
live
guns
through
near the next
these
pass.
sections.
I recommend using your sniper rifle to take out the gunners while I call for Marine support.
Let him have it!
Basically, try not to die. That's the goal here. So now that these guys died, I hope I can get a checkpoint here. This is the hardest section of this mission. I did not get a checkpoint though. And I got a weird elite. Okay, that's really bad. Yeah, that was super unfortunate.
Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The Corps ain't paying us by the
Yeah,
hour.
if you don't get a
Stick to the higher
checkpoint there,
ground to
you
the
just
right.
revert to
We
the
should
start
be
of the
able to
level.
recon the Covenant position without being spotted.
Let him have it!
Okay. There we go. Now, hopefully I can get a checkpoint here. This time. Looks like I'm not getting it. Okay. At least the elite spawns at a better spot. Ah, that's really unfortunate.
Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The Corps ain't paying us
Okay.
by the hour.
Stick to the higher
Try
ground
it
to the
again.
right. We should be able to recon the Covenant position without being spotted. I've
thing
detected
I have
Covenant
1 hour
stationary
30
guns near the
estimate.
next pass. I recommend using your sniper rifle to take out the gunners while I call for Marine support.
Halo is really brutal when it comes to consistency. Especially on Legendary. Things can go really wrong. Okay. So here. Depending on whether or not that elite comes down the hill. Okay, wow.
Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The Corps ain't paying us by the hour.
Stick to the
Not
higher
gonna
ground
lie,
to the right.
that
We
was
should be able to recon
not
the
the death
Covenant
I was
position without being spotted.
expecting.
I've detected Covenant stationary guns near the next pass.
I
recommend
that,
using your
that's like
sniper
a
rifle to
1
take
in
out the
1
gunners
million
while I
right
call for
there.
Marine support.
That was so unfortunate, actually. Okay, it's all fine. We're not losing a lot of time. Okay, now I have a checkpoint. Only took me 4 deaths. Okay. That grunt is actually being so bad. Yeah, that's not a good checkpoint with me overcharging. Okay. So I'm going to have to somehow make do with this, because that checkpoint is one of the worst checkpoints I ever gotten. Okay, this should work. Okay,
Covenant forces detected up ahead.
I
Path
should
up on
make
the
it
left
through
should let
here.
us sneak up around them.
Okay, there we go. That's the hardest section of the game, just individually. Wow, okay. I'm missing my shot. I'm actually missing by a pixel twice in a row.
Cortana to Fire Team Charlie.
There
Move
we
up on
go.
the left. You should be able to flank the enemy.
Oh yeah, I'm 1 red. So if I can die
Cortana to
really
Fire
easily
Team
at 1
Charlie.
red if
Move
I
up
miss
on the left.
shots.
You should be able to flank the enemy.
There we go. Oh boy. This is really rough, but it should be fine. Okay, next section is lift fight. This is a fun section. You have to be really good at sniping for it to work out. So what you do here, kill all these sleeping enemies. I think that should be all. I think I missed that front actually.
Cortana to Echo 419. Requesting reinforcements at our position. Roger, Cortana. Echo 419 on approach.
Okay. Should be
Alert!
fine.
Covenant dropships are inbound.
Okay.
Covenant forces sighted. Let's hit them, Charlie team.
So now we just want to insta-kill all of these waves of enemies. But it's not looking like it, unfortunately, because I got instantly overcharged by this jackal.
Keep it up.
Okay.
Nice shot by.
No, I got instant waves.
That one was mine.
Instant waves is when they just spawn
Get the
immediately.
red out, Marine.
It's kind of weird when it does happen.
Try that on. Nice one. Hey, that was mine.
And that's the last wave. Yeah, there's
We're
8
directly
waves of
under the ship now.
enemies, and you just have to
Good
kill
work,
them
Marines.
as fast as you can. That was actually pretty decent.
Close to one of these things. How the hell are we going to get
So now
inside that monster?
you just have to
The
snipe the
Covenant
hunters in
uses
the
gravity
back.
lift to move troops and
Yeah, that's
supplies
it.
between the ship and the surface. We need to ambush them at the grav lift's loading zone and use the lift to enter the ship.
We've secured. Yes, sir.
Okay, now here's the first major trick of the run. It's
I've got
called
a good
belly
lock on the
skip.
captain's CNI
So
transponder.
normally here there's a large,
No
long
Covenant
fight
defenses
scene,
detected.
which you have to do. It takes like a minute to 2 minutes almost. But instead, we're going to clip into the Wraith, and once it explodes, we get inside of it, and then we teleport up, and we're doing out-of-bounds platforming right here. So this is a pretty interesting section in particular. We just do this, some precise jumps, and movement. And if done correctly, should come out at the other end. Not like that though, that was really unfortunate. Okay. Missed the second to last jump at the end. That was my fault. I know what I did wrong, but should be fine. So here, jump to the left, backwards. And there we go. Second try is fine. So now here we really need plasma grenades for the next trick in the run. I didn't get any plasma nades again. Oh, the grunt gave me 2, that's good. So now we're going to try to do another trick called TNR stack right here. And what it is it's a pretty precise set of 3 nades right here. And it's important to note that when you pick up an overshield, which is a power-up in this game, you gain, you don't take damage at all while your shields are recharging. So by doing that, I skipped 4 or 5 minutes of just walking up the level, which is really cool. So now here we need to kill all of these enemies in the room to make this room proceed, or to continue on, I should say. So I wanted to pick up a new plasma pistol. And there we go. So now we're just heading to the prison room, which has keys, the captain who was captured in it. And we just have to do it quickly by killing all of these enemies. They got overcharged again. Pretty bad RNG, but that's fine. Okay, so we're going to kill these 2 jackals very quickly by sniping through them, just like that. Now kill these invisible elites, the grunts, this sword elite, and open the prison doors. Here we go.
We should head back to the shuttle bay and call for evac.
So now here we're going to kill these elites and just make our way back to where we came from. Okay. That could have been played slightly better. It's just that the elite was particularly aggressive there, which is really unfortunate. Normally the elite's hiding, which is what normally happens. I'm getting some really interesting enemy spawns here. So now here I want to make these Marines angry at me because it makes the level end sooner. Because of the grenade stacks that we did earlier, it skips a portion of the level, which the end level trigger has. So by doing that, it ends earlier here. And normally what happens is Keys has a long section of dialogue, but by killing the Marines, they become angry, and the level should end sooner if Keys is here. There we go. And that's TNR. Pretty cool level. The beginning section was pretty rough. And now we're on to SC.
The Covenant believe that what they call the silent cartographer is somewhere under this island.
For quite a bit.
The cartographer is a map room that will lead us to Halo's control center. The island has multiple structures and installations. One of them contains the map room.
We're approaching the LZ. It's gonna be hot. Get set to cut out quick.
This level is one of the coolest levels to speedrun, in my opinion. There's some really insane tricks that are going to be coming right here. Okay, so we're just going to be walking to the first Warthog. Normally if you play casually, you'll kill all the Covenant, all the enemies that are right in front of you in order to get a Warthog, but doing that is pretty slow. So that's why we walk all the way to this Warthog, which is around the corner, and we're going to do a fling through the door in a sequence of tricks very quickly in succession of each other.
It looks like there is a path into the interior of the island.
So hopefully I can speedrun my commentary about that section. Okay, so for the first part we're going to be going through the door with this Warthog, and what happens is normally you're supposed to press a button at like the other side,
in the cliff wall.
like in the middle of the
I'll bet
island,
the silent cartographer is somewhere inside that
and
facility.
it's a very long process. But instead of doing that, we can use this Warthog to clip through the door.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The
Just right
cartographer
here.
must be here.
So we turn,
Don't let them lock the doors.
drive down, clip through the door, melee that sword elite to get plasma nades. We shoot here to skip this cutscene that normally plays, and drop down just barely so that hit the sides so that we don't take any health damage from the fall. So now here we press the button, and there's going to be a very precise trick right here called stick stack. This is the new version of it. So I'm going to throw a bunch of nades in quick succession, and they're all going to blow up at the exact same time, hopefully. And I pick up the overshield and barely miss it. Okay. Oh, I hit the ceiling there. That was unfortunate. And there we go. So now we went all the way to the top with that. Saves a lot of time, because normally you would have to
I
walk up,
underestimated the Covenant's
kill all the
understanding of
enemies
Halo's
on the way, and
subsystems.
it's very dangerous.
They've locked the doors. And
So
we
by
don't
doing
have enough
this, we
firepower to get through.
effectively skip the entire
Cortana to
level.
Keys.
Go ahead, Cortana. Have you found the control center?
So now here, we just want to make sure
The
we
Covenant have
don't
impeded
die,
our
so we
progress.
just
We
kill.
can't proceed unless we can
I'm just
disable
going to
this
kill these
installation
enemies on the
security
way up.
system.
And there's enemies up top here, but they die once you hit this trigger right here.
Here are your orders.
And now there's
I want you to
invisible
use any
elites
means
up here.
necessary
But you
to
can
force your way to get to the
manipulate
facility
these
and
elites
find
so that
Halo's
they
control
all
center.
walk to the same spot and you can
We have to
instantly
get
kill
to the
them.
center
just by doing this.
Failure, people, is not an option.
Echo 419 to ground teams. I'll stay on station and keep an eye out for Covenant bogies.
Second squad, ready to roll as soon as everybody's topside.
Unfortunately, Pistol doesn't seem to be cooperating with headshots.
Keys out.
Just one left.
Cortana to Echo 419.
And now
Keep an
we
eye on
just walk
topside,
to the
requesting
warthog
pickup.
right here and finish
We need to find the
this level.
security override to get this door open.
And here we go. So now, AOTCR, there's a lot of very interesting and new tricks that are found on this level. So it's going to be quite a treat to see them. So hopefully things work out
As far as I
correctly.
can go. Roger that. We'll be able to find our way to the control center from here. Good luck. Foehammer out.
So right here at the start, we're just going to try to shoot our way in through all of these enemies. Just like that. It's really weird, I didn't get a checkpoint there. So I want to kill all of these grunts as well. Just so it's safe. Okay, that's interesting. And now here, this is something called Banshee Grab.
The weather patterns here
And
seem
it's a
natural,
very
not
precise
artificial.
trick
I wonder
by
if the ring's
lining up
environment
at a
systems are
specific
malfunctioning,
spot.
or if the
And we're
designers
going to
wanted the
crouch
installation to have inclement weather.
at a time once
This is
the
Fire Team
ring
Zulu
hits
requesting
like the
immediate
left
assistance
side,
from any UNSC forces.
and
Does
get
anyone
it
copy?
first try.
Over.
That's really good.
I didn't think there were any human forces left on this part of the ring.
So
Cortana to Fire
normally
Team
you can't
Zulu. I read you.
hijack a Banshee regularly,
Fire Team Zulu,
but
this
you
is
can
Cortana.
make the
Hold position. We're
elite
on our way.
itself
Roger that.
jump out
Make
of
it
the
quick.
Banshee by scaring it or by making him flip it himself. So now here we're just going to fly to the end of the level. But the thing is, there's some new tech that was discovered a couple months ago, I should say, called Banshee teleports, and those are very precise and dangerous. So hopefully I can get them. I have strats to make it safe. So I'm shooting here to delay a checkpoint, and I'm going to carry this all the way to the end, hopefully. And I'm going to be throwing nades just to make sure I can get the trick. Just like that. And should be good. Okay. Another thing I should note is you notice that there's no enemies that are spawning on this level. So normally when you proceed through the level regularly, there's so many enemies. You use a scorpion, you kill like probably 20 hunters or so. Insane amount. And the level's super long just casually, but by grabbing this Banshee early, you can just skip all of this level just like that. Imagine Banshees on every level. That would be scary. Library Banshee. Now that would be awesome, to be honest. Library is one of the most interesting levels. So here I delayed the checkpoint all the way to the door here, which is good. Fortunately had to get out again to open the door. So now we're going to bring the Banshee indoors here for a new trick. For Banshee teleports. And it's very precise. So now I'm going to line up at a very specific spot. This one is pretty precise. This should work. And then I melee two specific spots of the Banshee. And then once I move in the right direction, I teleport all the way to the next section of the level, which is near the end. And that's not the only teleport you do. You do another one to skip past opening all of these doors, because these doors take so much time to open. So what we do is we line up here again at another spot, and then do more teleports. And there we go, end of the level. Yeah, makes perfect sense. So what happens is, you clip your player model inside the Banshee. It's kind of like the Wraith teleport earlier in Truth and Reconciliation, the
The last
mission we did
transmission from the
earlier,
captain's dropship
where
was
we
from this area.
teleported
That was over
upwards.
12 hours ago.
But instead, we're teleporting
Locate
very
Captain
long
Keyes, radio
distances
in, and
sideways
I'll come
by
pick you up.
nailing the Banshee at certain points. And for some reason, it teleports you distances. So here we do a nade jump up to the top here. This level in particular is very interesting, because it's a new skip, a newish skip I should say, called Reveal Skip. Actually a new version of Reveal Skip, which makes this mission a lot easier to start out with. The old version was very inconsistent and very difficult. So now here, I'm going to delay a checkpoint because we want to get it somewhere else. And we're going to make our way over to a specific pillar. And kill all these grunts that we can, so we don't take damage here while doing the trick. And we throw a nade, boost up to this invisible platform, and walk to the side here. Get a checkpoint here, and it turns out I didn't need it, and there we go. First try reveal skip. So normally in this level you have to go through a bunch of hallways before you get to that point, and you get to see the flood appear for the first time in this game, which is a very scary part of the run. If you've watched the 343 cutscene, it's one of the scariest actually. But we skipped all that, so now we're just heading outside of this place. By the way, Camo Jewel. Hardest trick in the game. Now we're just making our way out of this building, which is a scary building. Basically all the way up to the next section of the game, which is library. And library has some very interesting prospects about it. So here we're going to do a nade jump up to the top here, and just exit out of this place. And I might die because there's a flood chasing me. Okay, there we go.
This is Echo 419. Chief, is that you? I lost your signal when you disappeared
on
inside the
purpose.
structure. What's going on down
I'm
there?
pretty sure you
I'm
mean on
tracking movement
purpose.
all over the place.
That's actually a speedrun strat for co-op, is to kill your co-op partner so one person can get a bunch of nades, or to position yourself at a better spot, things like that. And to get certain checkpoints and beat the game at specific spots. So now here, the goal is just to survive at this end part of the game. There's a lot of enemies and it's super easy to die. So hopefully I do not die at this section. And now the end level trigger is tied to these sentinels that spawn in. Unfortunately, I got kind of weird spawns, but that should work out. And now we're just waiting for the end of the level. We just try not to die, and there we go. So now here is library, and library has a very interesting trick called flood bumping. So in this game, flood can revive, and what happens is when they die, they lose their hitbox, and when they revive, they get it back again, and that allows you to go through some doors. That was really weird. I shot the flood's weapon, so I had to revert. That was really weird what happened. Have I tried shooting the aliens? Yes, I am shooting the aliens right now. Okay. So now, hopefully this time it will work. There we go. So we shoot the guy's arm off because we don't want it to shoot us, and if it doesn't have its weapon, it can only melee us. So we're going to walk all the way here and shoot so the flood doesn't like lose us. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. Okay, I got a checkpoint. That's important. If I didn't get a checkpoint, it would be a very long revert. This flood is being really non-aggressive. That's fine. So we shoot it twice, and it revives, and we can bump through this door. By flooding, sure. Okay. So now here, goal is just to make our way through these halls without dying. It's very easy to die on this mission. One of the hardest. Not only casually, but speedrunning wise. This mission and the next mission are the two hardest missions to speedrun, probably. Along with the second mission, Halo. So once again, we use the nade jump right there, right as we grab the overshield, so we can have infinite health as we walk through this section for like a small amount of time. Fortunately, I didn't get that flood's shotgun as I was walking by. That would have been kind of useful. Now here, I'm going to chuck a nade and hopefully kill all of these enemies.
These sentinels will supplement your combat systems, but I suggest
I'm
you
really
look
low
into at least
on
a class 12 combat
shotgun ammo, so that's pretty dangerous.
has disrupted power flow to a gravitic maintenance assembly.
And we made it through the first floor of 3 or 4? Four floors, yeah. Here's 3 elevators, 4 floors. Okay. So now I'm going to try a trick where if I get it, I'll save a lot of time. But if I don't, then I'm just going to lose a small amount. We're just trying it.
Please continue on.
So right here is carrier bump. I'll explain it if I can get it. Unfortunately, I did not. So I'm just going to wait. So normally what would happen there is you use a grenade to blow up one of these carriers all the way to the door. And if you crouch at the right spot, you can clip through the door just like that or teleport through it. Unfortunately, it's very unreliable. It can save a lot of time if you get it though, around 40 seconds I believe. But if you don't get it, you have to retry it over and over again. But because the consistency is very small, it's not worth trying it for a long amount of time. I tried it just once because it's pretty hyped to get it. especially on runs like these. So yeah. Okay. So now we're going to walk all the way to the next door right there. We can walk around the inside here so we skip all the enemies on the right of us. And they're like all shooting and stuff with all the sentinels. Normally, like if you were to play casually and just try to shoot your way through that section, it's a nightmare. So now here we're going to do a nade jump to go through this door early, because there's a small hole in the door which we can walk through. And now because I really need some shotgun ammo, I'm going to play it safe here and throw a nade and collect some shotgun ammo and a health pack and a grenade just cuz. Now, carriers are actually one of the most dangerous in this game. If they blow up close to you, you can just lose all your health instantly. Same with Rocket Flood. Rocket Flood are the most dangerous enemies in the game. Oh, accidentally threw a nade. That's not good. I might die here. If I die, it's kind of deserved. Okay. So here, there's the rocket guy. We have to kill him. Oh my gosh. What is this? Yikes. That was my fault, because I accidentally threw a grenade. Always unavoidable RNG. I actually almost lived that section with my play, so that was really cool. If I lived that section, I would have been God Gamer. That was insane. Yeah, but normally you would not throw a nade and kill yourself at that section, so... Yeah, this time I did not, so that's good. So now, just want to make sure the rocket guy dies. Just like that. Yeah. Don't do it, guys. Life is worth it. Okay. And now we're just going to go continue on. Next floor has 2 doors which you can bump through. One of them you'll almost definitely see. Unless I get some of the worst RNG ever. Or in the next door after that I should get, unless I get really unlucky as well. Let's see how my luck plays out today. Okay, so here I'm going to shoot these guys for some ammo in the health pack. It was full health earlier, but I just wanted to make sure I had full ammo. Plus having a lot of grenades is really good. So now at this section, just want to kill all these enemies. Try not to die. There's a lot of carriers at this section, so you want to kill them without dying to these popcorn here. That was really unfortunate because that carrier got blown up backwards towards my direction. should be fine here. Okay, there's my checkpoint. Now we're going to try to clip through this door. And normally it takes 2 shots to get a reviver, and it's RNG whether or not that guy is a reviver. So, 4th try, it's kind of unlucky, but works out. As long as you get it, it's fine. So normally here you can get a rocket guy, and that's kind of RNG whether or not it happens. I got no rocket guy that time, so that's good. And now here, just want to throw a nade, hopefully kill those guys up top. Looks like my nade did hit, that's good. And just want to make sure I can get a checkpoint here. There we go. So grab this health pack for safety. And what I want to do is get a human reviver at this section. Hopefully. And hopefully not die here. Okay. So I'm going to shoot to attract the flood. Hopefully they'll come towards here. This is the longest door in the game. In this level, it's 90 seconds. So if it goes down in 2 shots, it's a reviver. It's kind of hard to tell with what I've been given here. So I need to try it again. Especially it doesn't help when I have a carrier. Okay, so that needler guy was a reviver. Question is this plasma rifle guy one? No, it's not. So I need to get this needler guy to the door, which is going to be really rough because he's in the middle of the carrier. Okay, so he came out, which is good. That's all I need. So I line up with this door here. And there we go. And we can do a mini teleport by looking at this door in a specific spot. And just clip all the way through and teleport a small distance as well. So normally that door you have to wait a lot longer for. But because we got the door clip, that really helps out a lot. Now we're heading to the final floor. Hopefully this one goes smoothly. And let's see if I can get a carrier boost. I did not. Sometimes you can get the carrier to boost you just like that, where it blows up and boosts you a small distance. I need shields though now. There we go. Now there is one last door here which we have to wait for. But if I can get a reviver here, then it will save around 30 seconds. Unfortunately, there's a lot of enemies in that wave, so I can't test that human flood if it's a reviver. So now there's one shotgun flood here, which I can test for. It wasn't. That shotgun guy was, unfortunately. I shot him though while he was down. So I'm going to throw another nade. And it's not looking like I'm not going to get this door. Yeah, it's already opening. So now we're just going to make our way down to the end of this level. Kill some enemies just to make sure we don't die at this last grenade jump. What is that RNG? That carrier made me miss that last bump. I would swear that would have been so dumb. I actually couldn't do anything about that, by the way. The enemies spawned too soon, so I walked in front of the flood.
The Flood are already hard at work repairing your vessel.
That was really bad RNG, because the carrier flew all the way to the spot where I normally stand in. Because you need to get through this door as soon as possible so that you can skip all of these flood that spawn in. So like this should work. There we go.
The energy barrier surrounding the index will deactivate when we reach the ground floor.
Yeah, it was pretty unlucky what happened there.
You may now retrieve the index.
Okay, so now next mission is 2 Betrayals. It's one of the hardest missions on Legendary.
Protocol
In the
requires that
game.
I take possession of the index for transport. Your organic form renders you vulnerable to infection. The index must not fall into the hands of the Flood before we reach the control room and activate the installation. The Flood is spreading. We must hurry.
Look out!
So right here, you want to just kill these sentinels and try not to take
Look
health
out.
damage. If you take health damage, you have to revert because this next section you really need full health to make it through.
We can't let the monitor activate Halo. We have to stop him. We have to destroy Halo.
And now here we just
According
want
to
to
my analysis of the available data, I
skip
believe
all
the
of
best
these
course of
enemies
action
as soon
is
as
somewhat
possible.
risky. An explosion of sufficient
without
size
dying
will help
to
destabilize
the
the ring
grunts
and
the
will cut through a
sentinels.
number of
And we
primary
have to
systems.
make sure that the
We need to
grunts
trigger
don't
a detonation
die,
on a
because
large
they'll
scale,
spawn a wave
however.
of enemies right here.
A starship's fusion
And
reactors
it's
going
really
critical
hard.
would do
See,
the
they
job.
just spawned. So if they spawned
I'm
a
going
bit
to search
before,
what's left of the Covenant battle
it
net
would
and
have
see
been
if I
really
can locate
bad.
the Pillar of Autumn's crash site.
So right there,
If
I
the
hit
ship's
the button
fusion
twice,
reactors
so
are
it
still
should have
relatively
deloaded
intact,
all the
we
enemies,
can use them to destroy Halo.
which is good. So only these 2 jackals and 2 elites spawn in. So no enemies will appear from the rest of this level. But unfortunately, in order to beat the level, you need to make sure the enemies spawn in. So what we're going to have to do is go back to hit that button. But first we want to grab these rockets and the Banshee, so we can make it through this section way faster and way safer. Because normally this section is impossible almost to get through just by walking to the Banshee with enemies. There's so many of them. So we fly back here and we hit this button again. And head all the way.
I haven't located the crash site yet, but we
To
need
the
to buy
first
some time
generator.
in case the Monitor or his Sentinels find a way to activate Halo's final weapon without the Index.
So I missed
The
the trigger
machinery
here.
in these canyons are Halo's primary firing
Yeah,
mechanisms. They
normally
consist of
Marks our
3
target.
phase pulse generators
I
that
missed the
amplify
trigger
Halo's
right there, so
signal
I have to
and
fly
allow
back
it
to
to
it.
fire deep into space. The power levels are enormous. I can't even begin to calculate the pulse's range. So,
Okay.
if we damage or destroy these generators, the monitor will need to repair them before Halo can be used. That should
So
buy us
now
some
in
time.
this mission we have to blow up
I'm marking
3
the location of the
generators.
nearest pulse
One
generator
of them
with a
is
nav
this
point.
first
We
one.
need to move in
There's
and
a second
neutralize the
one
device.
quite a bit
Objective
further
accomplished.
in the
The pulse
level.
generator
And
has
then
overloaded.
the third one's at the very
Scanning.
end of the level.
The generator's central core is offline. Well done.
And the second generator is
Wait,
the
we
hardest
should
one
commandeer one
in
of those
particular
banshees.
because
We'll
there's
need
so
it to
many
reach the pulse
enemies.
generator in time. The
in
second
that
pulse generator
section.
is located in the adjacent
But
canyon.
before getting
Move
there,
out and I'll
there's
mark the target
2
with a nav point
bridges
when
which
we
you
get
have to
closer.
go through, and those bridges are very difficult.
Head through that door.
This level
That's
is
the way to the next canyon.
the one where I expect the most deaths on. So here, kill this grunt. And we walk here to this window so the enemies shoot at it. So we can just do a nade jump through this section without getting a lot of damage taken. And then here, we want to kill all these jackals and not die. Okay, the jackal lived. That should be fine. Really don't want to die here, so I'm just going to wait for shields. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Just have to do it again. This section is pretty hard. Okay, so now all the jackals are dead. There we go. Earlier my grenades didn't kill a single elite, so that would have been really bad. Or that was really difficult because they didn't die. Here we wait for a little bit, so we get the flood to fight the Covenant. And now we throw a bunch of nades just to clear this room. Because that room in particular is very difficult. So we just clear it all out before we go through. And there we go. So here's the first bridge, which is really difficult. This is the most difficult bridge, I believe, because there's no concrete strats that we have for it. You just kind of have to make your way through without dying. Sword Elite was scared. And should make it through here, unless I get super rigged. But looks like we're through, which is good. That was pretty clean of the first bridge. Now, here, there's a lot of enemies that are in this section. So we throw a lot of nades here that kill certain waves of enemies. And we try not to alert any of them here. And then we go here, we hit a spawn for these elites, so they die instantly. And now we just want to not die to this rocket launcher guy. He's around the corner. And looks like he died. I nearly died. I might die here. That was really close. Okay, and there's our checkpoint. So now here, This is another super hard bridge. So hopefully I can make it through. Okay, that Banshee went straight for me. That is something I've never seen before. The Banshee literally nosedived for me. That's like so rare. Okay. Well, this is the hardest bridge of the run. Hardest section of the run, I should say. So I shouldn't be surprised if things go wrong. Yeah, the Banshee is really... Okay, I'm waiting here so the Banshee's on a slightly better cycle, hopefully. That's not a good cycle. Oh, it's because the two Banshees literally went straight for me. Okay, I should make it through here, which is good. I have, like, little to no ammo as well, so this is going to be really rough. So I'm going to probably play it safe here and kill all of these guys if I can. I don't have any bullets to do it. That's really rough. I only have 2 shotgun shots. Okay. Should be good here. I just needed to make sure I had shotgun ammo because the next place where I have to go to is second generator. And if you don't have ammo for that, you're really at a bad section. That's really bad. So now here, there we go. We get a clip that saves 1 second, by the way. And now here we're going to use our flood buddies to jump through this hole because I'm not confident in a nade jump, which is pretty precise. So we jump on top of the flood's head over this gap here. And straight through. So now here, going to rocket the ghost over. Because I have low health, I'm going to play it safe.
Okay, let's take care of the next
And
pulse
wait for
generator.
those Covenant, the Grunt, and the Elite to walk by. And hopefully this Wraith doesn't decide. That was... I don't even know. I swear that never happened to me either. That's a lot of firsts
Okay,
going on
let's take care of the next
right
pulse
now.
generator.
Yeah, the Banshee decided to, yeah, the Wraith and the Banshee can troll you, but normally the Wraith trolls you more. And that's the first time ever the Banshee has trolled me with a fuel rod shot like that, which is really rare. I don't know how rare that is, because I'm riding a Ghost, which is moving at a very fast speed, and the Banshee somehow aimed at me, so yeah, that AI was super smart there. I normally get rigged here by the Banshee, or yeah, by the enemy Banshee when it shoots me here, but it happened earlier than I expected. Okay, so here's second generator. It's hardest generator of the 3 because the other 2 there's no enemies. This one there's literally all all the enemies you can think of in the game that you can pack in one room.
That did it. The pulse generator overloaded. One more to go.
Okay. Okay, game. I couldn't react to that because that was behind the door. Okay, and my nade didn't kill anything. I could not
That
react
did it.
at all
The
to
pulse
that
generator overloaded. One more to
rocket
go.
club, by the way. Okay, that was my fault. The first frag didn't go. We have really weird spawns. Should be
That did
fine
it.
though.
The pulse generator overloaded. One more to go.
And there we go. It's not that hard. It's just really unlucky what happened. Okay, my Banshee took so much
I've located the
damage
Pillar
there.
of Autumn. She put down 1,200 kilometers upspin. Energy
I
readings
might
show
have
her
to
fusion reactors
try
are
to
still
get a new one. Yeah, I needed to do something about it because mine got instantly shot with a fuel rod when I went through. That was really bad. Yeah, Midwest Speedfest, guys. The timer is frozen. Yeah. Yikes. Okay, just gonna play it a bit safer. If the thing would blow up, that would be nice. That's okay, you're giving me time. That's good. Just pretend my estimate is really... I'm going to get a 119 right here.
That did it. The pulse generator overloaded.
Okay.
That did it. The pulse generator overloaded. One more to go.
Okay. This time I didn't get shot by the fuel rod grunt.
I've located the
I
Pillar of Autumn.
almost did.
She put down 1,200 kilometers upspin.
Hopefully
Energy
this
readings
Banshee
show her
doesn't
fusion
troll me,
reactors
but
are
it looks
still
like it's
powered up.
about to.
That tunnel leads to the next
Yeah, this
section of
Banshee's
canyon.
gonna troll
The
me.
final pulse
Oh,
generator we
it
need to
didn't.
destroy is through there.
Sometimes the Banshee can follow you into this tunnel, and when it does, it's like really bad. You just die. It's kind of unfortunate. I nearly got shot by the rocket guy as well. Okay, so here... Gonna clip through this door. And it's really tough to learn this trick. You have to position your Banshee in a very weird way in order to do that. Normally you would have to walk through this entire section, and it's very slow. Before that, you would use a ghost to go through the ramp, or through the wall, the door. But because this was discovered, it saves so much time. So here, gonna go through this door. Nice checkpoint. Checkpoints are always nice. We're going to spawn kill a few enemies here. And the point of that is to allow us to spawn in enemies by driving all the way to specific sections. Okay, the Banshee is really chasing me as well this one. hopefully don't get rigged. That Banshee is really close. Okay, but should make it through here. That Banshee's actually still following me. Yikes. Okay. We're good. And that's 2 betrayals. It's one of the toughest levels because of how often you can die.
Final target neutralized. Let's get out of here.
Okay, so here's the shortest level of the game, Keys. So what we do at the very start is a minute, so we can get a reviver flood at the very start.
Captain? Captain? I've lost him.
So this guy's a reviver, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring him to this wall and overcharge him, so he would fall down, and if done correctly, which I did not do, you would clip through the wall. I was not positioned close enough.
Captain? Captain? I've lost him.
Okay, that was my fault.
Captain? Captain? I've lost him.
Okay. So I'm going to head all the way to here. Overcharge the guy. And clip through. Now, because we clipped through the wall, we have to hit a trigger back there, which spawns these enemies, and they don't have AI. So these enemies are all in their T-pose state. And now we just kill all of them, just like that, so we don't die in this cutscene. Hey, the timer's
No
back.
human life signs detected. The captain, he's one of them. We can't let the flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do. It's done. I have the code. We should go.
Okay.
We need
So
to
now
get back to
here-
the Pillar of Autumn. Let's go back to the shuttle
You
bay
throw a
and find a
nade so
ride.
these enemies are all distracted and look at the nade instead of me. And just run past all of them. So now here... Okay, I didn't crouch.
We need to get
that
back
was
to the Pillar of Autumn.
my
Let's
fault.
go back to the shuttle bay and find a ride.
Okay, that was unfortunate. I'm gonna die. Okay, I somehow didn't die. That's good. So now we're just waiting for the end of the level. And we can get inside these banshees, and they have a weird property. So they're invincible. But not only are they invincible, but they can fly through walls.
Grab one of the escort banshees and we'll use it to return to the Pillar of Autumn.
And if you fly in this specific area, you can change the cutscene. It's really weird. Okay, so now here's the final level of the game, which is Maw.
We need to get to the bridge.
The Maw.
From there, we can use the captain's
known
neural
for
implants
its
to initiate an
very
overload of the ship's
cool
fusion engines.
Warthog driving
The
section.
explosion should damage enough systems below it to destroy the ring.
Sometimes a wave of enemies spawn here. They didn't this time. It depends on certain like it's a certain time when they do spawn, but it's pretty precise. So here I really need this shotgun. And goal is to get a checkpoint here. Good. Now pick up these nades, and we're going to do cafe bump. So we're going out of bounds platforming here. And because we can't see anything in the next room because it hasn't loaded in, we shoot our shotgun so we move our camera through to the next section of the game. And we're going to jump on these the lights on top here, in this wall, or the ceiling, and drop down here, and we skipped the entire bridge section where there's so many enemies. So here, get a checkpoint, good. Now we just want to make our way to the generator room and dodge all of these enemies. That flood was standing in a weird spot. And now here we grab the rocket launcher, it's kind of important. And we want to grab this overshield back here for a cool trick. So we make our way through these hallways, all the way, and we don't want to lose our overshield. It's kind of important for the rest of this run. By the way, Hunter's behind me. And now, here's the generator room. And it normally takes a lot of time to blow up each generator. But with this strat, what we do is we throw a nade, jump, and use the rocket to rocket jump all the way to the top. Sadly, I failed it that time.
Engine room located. We're here.
Failed it again. It's totally worth it though. It saves a lot of time.
Engine room located. We're here.
So there we go.
Alert! The monitor has disabled all command access. We can't restart the countdown.
Open these reactors.
The only remaining option is to detonate the ship's fusion reactors. That should do enough damage to destroy Halo. Don't worry, I have access to all of the reactor schematics and procedures.
Through those generators.
First, we need to pull back the exhaust couplings. That will expose a shaft that leads to the primary fusion drive. Good! Step 1 complete! We have a straight shot into the fusion reactor. We need a catalyst explosion to destabilize the magnetic containment field surrounding the fusion cells. Use an explosive. I recommend a grenade or rocket. If you run out of explosives, there is an armory station located near the engine room's entrance. Analyzing.
I don't have ammo.
Fusion reactor number 1 destabilizing. Use explosives on the other 3 reactors. That should be enough to trigger a wildcat explosion of the engines.
It's actually really bad. Okay. I missed the rocket, so that's quite a bit of time loss.
Engine room located. We're here.
This rocket jump is pretty precise timing.
Engine room located. We're here.
There we go.
Alert! The monitor has disabled all command access. We can't restart the countdown. The only remaining option is to detonate the ship's fusion reactors. That should do enough damage to destroy Halo. Don't worry, I have access to all of the reactor schematics and procedures. I'll walk you through it. First, we need to pull back the exhaust couplings. That will expose a shaft that leads to the primary fusion drive core. Good! Step 1 complete! We have a straight shot into the fusion reactor. We need a catalyst explosion to destabilize the magnetic containment field surrounding the fusion cells.
There we go.
Use an explosive. I recommend a grenade or rocket. If you run out of explosives, there is an armory station located near the engine room's entrance.
So now here's the last part of the game.
Fusion reactor number 1
is the
destabilizing.
elevator
Use
upwards.
explosives on the other 3 reactors. That should be enough to trigger a wildcat explosion of
And this part is really easy to die in because of these fuel rod runs. Thing is, you don't want to shoot them because the fuel rods themselves, they explode
Cortana to Echo
and the
419. Come
grunts
in,
can
Echo
like
419.
cause huge chain
Roger,
reactions
Cortana.
which can
I read you,
just
5
blow
by 5.
everything up.
The Pillar of Autumn's engines are going critical, Fohammer. Request immediate extraction. Approach the crash site and be ready to pick us up at External Access Junction 4C as soon as you get my signal.
Now we're heading into the
Affirmative.
Warthog,
Echo
the last
419
part of
going
the
off
game,
station.
for some
Echo
cool
419 to
driving
Cortana.
to
Things
reach
are
the
getting
end.
noisy down there. Everything okay? Negative, negative. We have a wildcat destabilization of the ship's fusion core. The engines must have sustained more damage than we thought.
So
analyzing.
now we drive through all
We have
these
5
enemies.
minutes before the fusion
and
drives
just
detonate. We
do
need
a
to
race all
evac
the way
now.
to the
Activating
end.
final countdown timer. When it reaches 0, the engines will detonate. The explosion will generate a temperature of almost 100 million degrees. Don't be here when it blows.
Because I have a small amount of time, I guess. I think I could wait at Fohammer for the fun. Going to be still underestimate. Yeah, the thirsty grunt. I can visit that too. Because the rest of this level is basically just a drive to the end. Just make it fun. Yeah, so it's simple, just driving. There's one trick left though, or 2 tricks left I should say, that involve driving. I'll tell you when they're coming up. Excuse my driving. Okay, so normally you can just drive through this section because normally
Wait,
it's
stop. This is where Fohammer is coming to
you
pick
can
us
just
up.
drive through.
Hold position here.
But very few speedrunners
Cortana to Echo
normally see this
419.
cutscene
2
at the
Covenant
end.
Banshees are approaching on your 6. Evade. Say again, evade. I'm hit. Mayday. Mayday. Airport buses are shot to hell. I can't hold her. I can't hold her.
Rest in peace,
Echo 419! She's gone. Calculating alternate escape route.
Okay, so now
Ship's
here's
inventory
the...
shows 1 longsword fighter
going
is
to
still
head to
docked
the
in Launch Bay
thirsty
7.
grunt.
If we move now, we can make it.
It's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know how to do the grab. You can grab one of those banshees, but it's a very precise and hard trick to do. And it's slower. So here's the grunt, right here. We're going to say hi to it.
Good thing that food nipple's waiting for me at the starship, cause man, if I worked up a big grunty thirst.
Sorry, grunt. Maybe next time. And now here's 360 Swipe. Everyone with your Kevin Turtles in chat.
Chief, up ahead there's a gap in the trench. At top
Kevin
speed, we
Turtle.
should be able to clear it.
360 height. This trick actually saves time because Sometimes if you just drive straight forwards, you flip the Warthog and you die, but if you do the 360, you're guaranteed not to flip. And now here's a section where it's possible to die in if I get absolutely extremely unlucky, but I didn't. And now here's the last trick called barrels, and what we have to do
That's
is
the
squeeze
ship.
through these barrels
Move!
with
We
the
need to get
Warthog.
aboard
And
now!
apparently it's not looking like I got a good spot for it, so I have to do the walk of shame. Yeah, I didn't wedge the Warthog in the right spot. And time ends once I hit this ramp right here, and time.
We're cutting it close!
Not the best run, to be honest. But it was fun. That was a fun run.
Here we go.
Thank you so much for your run.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Come here, you
So that should be it for me. Nice cutscene play out here. Okay.
Go ahead and throw out any shout outs you got.
This is it, baby.
Thanks everyone in the Halo Runs community for coming and watching. Really appreciate it. All you guys, all the people that have helped support me, really appreciate it. Shout out to HaloRuns.com, speedrunning site for all your
Shut them down, we'll leave them
Halo-related
later.
games. And yeah. Shout you out.
Fancy a look?
Panda square. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that should be it for me.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Yeah.
We're gonna throw it over to the intermission there, and we'll be right back. With
Did
the
anyone else make it?
King of Swing.
Okay. Okay, see you.